get your eggnog and pear trees ready because it's Christmas. Oh boy, I love me a Christmas-themed video. As a hopeless nostalgia-obsessed creature, Christmas has a very special place in my heart. The warmth I feel for this time of year cannot be understated. It produces some really potent fuzzies for me. Like, really potent fuzzies. Especially a Christmas-themed episode of a children's cartoon, and especially if that children's cartoon involves a big yellow cheese. Yeah, no duh. But the SpongeBob Christmas Special, Christmas Who, is not only a certified classic SpongeBob episode, it's also a certified classic Christmas special, up there with Peanuts and Rankin Bass. I loved this episode as a kid. These sort of holiday special episodes only ever reran around their respective holidays, making it the perfect vibe producer. Once you saw this episode on TV, you knew what time of year it was. Christmas still almost feels incomplete without indulging in at least a few of these holiday episodes with friends over Discord or something these days. And you better believe Christmas Who is almost always the first one we watch. A great episode premise for the show, and honestly just a really emblematic episode when it comes to these characters and their personalities. Especially Squidward, who is the perfect vice for the true meaning of Christmas type story. He's basically just like a more bluish Grinch. The episode is extremely funny, the song is almost impossible not to sing along to, and it's genuinely heartwarming, something I feel is pretty necessary for a Christmas-themed piece of television media. Just an S-tier Christmas special and an S-tier SpongeBob episode as far as I'm concerned. But I'm sure many of you know, I'm not very well versed in SpongeBob after the year 2005, and not a big fan of SpongeBob after the year 2005. So my curiosity came a-crawlin'. Did they make more Christmas episodes? I mean, there are like 10 billion seasons at this point, so of course they did. Some, I've been told, are classic on their own right. So what the heck? It's Christmas time, I'm in the Christmas mood. Let's check out these Christmas-themed SpongeBob episodes. Surely, my Christmas whimsy and joy will keep this video all positive and not petty to the fact that the show has changed so drastically over the course of 25 years and basically is a husk of its former self, constantly trying as hard as it can to be relevant again. Well, let's hope not at least. So back in 2012, they made a second Christmas special, simply named It's a SpongeBob Christmas, because peanuts, you know. And you may have noticed very quickly, this special is in stop motion. And let me just get this out of the way. This special looks incredible. It's a really nice balance of SpongeBob's design philosophies and a very toy-like stop motion style. It's all very fluid and bouncy, even being efficiently choppy when it needs to be as well. For what it's worth, this special is a feast for the eyes, and the artists who worked on it outdid themselves. The writers, on the other hand, so the special starts with Patchy, and he's also stop motion. He looks pretty charming, actually. But I'd be lying if I said I didn't miss the live-action Patchy. Something about live-action elements being used to represent the people and things on the surface was always really charming. But anyways, once again, it is Christmas in Bikini Bottom, and SpongeBob is singing about how excited he is. Squidward is not excited, Patrick is trying to get Santa to suck his cock, and Sandy is doing science stuff, I guess, because that was suddenly 90% of Sandy's personality post-season 3. I never really understood why they did that. Mr. Krabs is excited because he's greedy, I guess, but Plankton is not excited because he knows he'll be on the naughty list. Tisk tisk Plankton. So he comes up with a scheme to feed people fruitcake laced with jerktonium? Basically a drug that chicken noises them into being a jerk. Meaning Plankton will be on the nice list by comparison, I guess. Even though, like, literally 3 out of 4 of SpongeBob's friends were singing about being kinda shitty for Christmas. Patrick was planning on trapping Santa into a box.
And make him suck my cock.
Probably shouldn't be thinking too hard about it. Plankton is the evil one, TM. Either way, he tests the fruitcake on SpongeBob, but it doesn't work because, of course it doesn't. He's just too damn pure. And SpongeBob loves the fruitcake. Not knowing it's laced with a poisonous drug, he shares it with everybody in town, thus turning everyone into quote-unquote jerks, aka 5 o'clock shadow and big bushy eyebrows. SpongeBob eventually finds out that the solution to this jerk disease is singing a song basically just telling them not to be a jerk. Brilliant. This song is obviously why this special was made at all, and it is, it's alright. It's no very first Christmas to me, but I wouldn't expect it to exceed God's. The lyrics are decently cute and fit the personality of SpongeBob well. It's just kind of like listing mundane annoyances that people do, like leaving the toilet seat up or leaving chewed gum on the ground. And I'd be lying if I said it wasn't an earworm. It definitely gets stuck in my head around this time of year plenty, which I'm sure was their goal. Anyways, after the musical number, Santa shows up just in time for everyone not to be jerks, but it's too late. Santa already wrote his list and even checked it twice. Maybe should have checked it a third time if I'm being honest, but whatever. Santa is depicted so strangely in this special, like he's kind of a dick. I guess kind of playing with your expectations on what Santa is supposed to be like? I don't know. Can't say I'm a fan of this John Goodman Santa Claus. You can't beat the manic Santa from the original Christmas special. SpongeBob fights the big robot version of himself that Plankton made to make him look bad or something, and Christmas is saved and everyone learns to avoid fruitcake because it may be laced with a chemical that alters your brain chemistry. So let me first say, I don't hate this episode. It's actually got a lot of charm. It's visually one of the coolest things I've ever seen from this show. The animators had a ton of fun messing with different ways of displaying shots, sometimes not even really being hand animated, just using practical effects. But man, this episode's writing is so odd and kind of lame at the same time. Weirdly enough, a lot of the issues I have with this special are very similar to the other SpongeBob special I talked about on this channel, which may just be an issue with post-movie SpongeBob as a whole. The writing just has little to no wit to it. I'd say it's at least like a letter grade above Best Day Ever in this regard, but it's missing that groundedness and mundaneness that made SpongeBob so good. I kind of equate it to a lot of the original creators getting their start on Rocko's Modern Life. You get a lot of that energy from those earlier episodes, which was a good thing to me. But by this point, that soul had completely dissipated. Our Christmas special isn't just about Squidward learning to appreciate the holiday. It's about Plankton coming up with a scheme to drug everybody in town and creating a big epic robot for SpongeBob to destroy and save the day. And oh, speaking of that, did you notice something? This was almost the same exact moral as that first SpongeBob Christmas special. The original is about Squidward learning to be a little nicer around the holiday through SpongeBob's sweet gesture, and is pushed to match that nice gesture with one of his own. It feels very grounded and real in a way, making its moral relatable and easily applicable to a lot of people who may take advantage of the holiday. In a lot of ways, the moral is, don't be a jerk, comma, it's Christmas. And this is obviously the moral of this special as well, but its execution is just so much less honest. Everyone is a jerk because Plankton was evil and made the funny drugged fruitcake. It's obviously supposed to be silly and over the top, but I genuinely feel a Christmas special needs that kind of heartfelt edge to make it feel like a Christmas special, you know? We need the mushy scenes, and the original actually had that, and it was really well done. It wasn't just constantly silly because silly children's show, but this special definitely feels like the only consideration was quote-unquote silly children's show, which is a shame because SpongeBob was always way more than that to me. And it just makes its moral a lot less relatable and memorable. But I guess if the line, don't be a jerk, it's Christmas, will be memorized and repeated by hundreds of thousands of kids, then what's the difference? It just doesn't feel as natural or honest to me. The special's plot was definitely designed around the song, considering the song was basically the reason it was made at all, and it ends up feeling contrived and forced because of it. I'm getting deja vu here. But overall, I guess I don't hate it. It's kind of funny sometimes, and for its visuals alone, it's worth a watch. Just not even close to as good as the original special in my eyes. So it seems to have been a pattern for SpongeBob to make a Christmas special basically once a decade, because they didn't get another one until 2021. Season 13, Episode 5, Road to Christmas. Okay, I'm just going to be upfront about it. This one really sucks. So the premise is that SpongeBob left a Christmas present for Santa, but Santa booty kicked it under the couch. So 7 months later, SpongeBob notices it and is so distraught about it that him and Patrick and Plankton, I guess, decide to go to the North Pole to deliver it to him. The plot is just some big excuse to come up with some arbitrary way to have these three characters go on an adventure together, and also be slightly, maybe kinda, almost about Christmas kinda. The episode clearly takes place in July, which is like a funny, ironic, twisting your expectations, random funny joke, but also is very stupid, in not a funny way. So they travel to Christmas Land to meet Santa, which is actually just a Christmas theme park. Oopsie daisy. And through this really odd meta joke, they meet Patchy the pirate, and he's animated, ? Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, so I'm not going to go on a Sponge Boomer, they're ruining the legacy rant. I'll save you the pain. But let me just say, this show needs to stop attempting to honor the show's legacy at all, in my opinion. It just comes off really soulless to me. Just be your own thing. Be proud that you're your own thing. Something like this serves no purpose. Patchy was fun because it was literally Tom Kenny living in a real-ass suburban house dressed as a pirate, pretending to be SpongeBob's biggest fanatic. That's what made it entertaining. So if you just animate him as a cameo, it rings so hollow. And like, really, you're gonna animate him? Like I said earlier, I always loved when something from the surface appeared, it was live action footage, either puppets or actors or something. It was a really fun way to separate our fantasy undersea world and reality a bit. In the movie, when SpongeBob and Patrick dry out, they literally turn into an actual sponge and starfish. It's really clever, but I guess they just don't do that anymore, or just don't really care to. I know that's like an extra step in the process of pumping these episodes out, but that extra effort is what made SpongeBob stand out and gave it such a legacy. That sense of creativity and passion. You know what doesn't feel creative? Dangling keys in front of classic SpongeBob fans being like, hee, look, the reindeer has WOW on his arm. Remember that? We sure love our legacy, guys. Hee. Okay, I'm sorry. I said I wasn't going to go on a rant. It's just so frustrating because I constantly hear that I shouldn't be comparing these new episodes to the older episodes. Then the show should stop reminding me of these older episodes. But yeah, 2D animated Patchy is here, I guess. He makes a joke being like, before GPS, we had something called maps, which, I don't know, just kind of feels like a weirdly timely joke for a show like SpongeBob. But as I've proved, my perception of how this show should be written is a little skewed. Anyways, they make it to the North Pole and find out Santa is on vacation by this really cute elf girl. Like, she is so well animated and cute, but if you showed me her separated from other characters, I would have literally no idea it's a SpongeBob SquarePants character. This is the kind of thing that really goes to show how much the animation style has changed over the years. Plankton tries to infiltrate Santa's old-ass PC to put himself on the nice list so he can ask for the secret formula. Didn't we already do this? He gets into some drama with the reindeer and chaos ensues, blah, 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 blah. Santa shows up and SpongeBob gives him the gift. Turns out the gift was just a letter to Santa saying, "You're cool, Santa." And that's basically it. A lot of things happen, but on the surface level, that's it. SpongeBob and gang go to the North Pole and do the thing they needed to do. The end. I don't know, man. This episode is just not good. Even beyond it being critiqued as a Christmas episode, it's just not very funny. And they are trying really, really hard to be funny. Jokes just don't land for me. They're either paced really strangely or just not funny. I don't know.
Oh, Plankton, Christmas is about believing.
Yeah, Christmas is about bleeding, man.
I know humor is subjective, but I just really don't get what they're going for with some of these. The episode is at least animated well, and there are some story ideas that I like here and there, but as a whole, it's just nothing for me. The episode is a remarkable example of how drastic the difference in tone is, though, which, considering the episode aired over 15 years after any episode I enjoyed aired, makes sense. And don't get me wrong, I do truly believe change is inevitable and honestly healthy for a television series that's been going on for 25 years. It's just jarring because those first 3 seasons really defined SpongeBob's IP. It's where it made most of its fans and where its legacy is located. You can kind of smell that the people who are writing and storyboarding these newer episodes know that and try to find a weird balance where they can be their own thing but still be that old thing that people enjoy, honoring this legacy, quote unquote, but trying to not be shackled by it. I don't know, at some point I think it's just not worth the effort. Like, why even make new episodes? SpongeBob's newer episodes don't really add much to the zeitgeist surrounding the series, but it also kind of feels like a sunk cost deal. Like, why would they stop now? Their legacy has already been, for a lack of better terms, tainted by subpar and forgettable episodes for years. Not like if they stop now, it would all be forgotten. Anyway, I'm rambling at this point. And I'm not talking about an episode that aired like yesterday. This aired 3 years ago. I doubt they'd make a new Christmas special now. Wait, what? A special came out literally yesterday as of writing this? Are you kidding? Nope. Sandy's Country Christmas. Another stop motion one. Wow. So I guess we're not done quite yet. I feel like I gotta see it to the end. The special starts with, gasp, a live action narrator? Oh my god, it's a Christmas miracle. This is actually kind of a funny bit, like the French narrator is trying to use like Southern terminology, it's cute. So it's Christmas time, surprise. And Sandy is doing science stuff because surprise, that's her whole personality now, surprise, surprise. She's trying to make Christmas in a test tube, I guess. Sandy hears noises a-coming and it's this guy? Who is this guy? Slappy? Who the fuck is Slappy? They're adding reoccurring named characters to SpongeBob now? Slappy is in a ton of episodes. Who the fuck is this? Well, this weird Peter Lorre parody thing is here, I guess. Oops, not anymore. Here's Sandy's family, question mark, which I think were characters introduced in the newest Netflix exclusive movie. I don't know, did anyone actually watch that thing? Also, this may be biased talking, but Sandy is really loud and annoying in this episode. It feels like the VA is like shouting all of her lines. Is that a new thing? Like, Sandy could be loud, but she was a pretty reserved character, I felt. Also, given Sandy's entire family has hair, does that mean Sandy is just bald? So they go to the Krusty Krab and sing a very yodely country song about Christmas. And you know, I'm not one for country music, but this is probably the most irritating sequence of notes I've ever heard in my life. Sandy shows everyone in town the liquid that decorates things. I guess it seems convenient. After a lot of time wasted on Sandy's family just being silly, these little shits give the tree some extra juice, making it really, really big. Santa shows up and flies into the tree, and he's all silly and loopy, hee, and everyone is pissed because Sandy ruined Christmas. Seems a little unreasonable, but sure, plot, I guess. Also, I gotta say, this special is halfway at this point, and we now are just getting a semblance of plot. It was just like things happening and people being loud about it for the entire runtime so far. Also, this is truly Sandy's special. SpongeBob has done literally nothing. He just makes comments about whatever's happening. Anyways, Sandy is bummed, but discovers Santa's gifts in her tree dome, and she decides to deliver them all to Bikini Bottom herself. Well, her family as well. So they make a sleigh and deliver the presents and sing about it, and that's basically the rest of the special. No more dilemma or conflict. Oh wait, at some point, they run out of Christmas magic, but then they just like sing and it fills up again, even though they were singing like 2 seconds before that. I don't know anymore. Nothing else happens, so it's not even worth talking about. This one also fucking sucks. Nothing fun or interesting happens at all. Not even like wacky hijinks. It's just like nothing. The other specials had a semblance of story or pacing or writing in some capacity, some sort of personality, some sort of creativity. Even if it was contrived or lame, it felt like it was storyboarded and planned in some way. Like, this feels planned, quote unquote, but in a way that is so insanely uninteresting. I'd be convinced an AI wrote this episode, which sadly doesn't even feel too far-fetched at this point. There's like no plot with a proper payoff. There's no moral or anything. It's just nonsense. Also, decidedly very non-SpongeBob feeling. Nothing in this special feels like it's taking advantage of the world or its characters. I guess Sandy doing science stuff moves the plot forward a bit, but Sandy's family add basically nothing. They sing and help build the sleigh, but Sandy could have done that herself. Just saying. They don't add anything to the story, basically. Or whatever vapors of a story are here. Also, their attempt at writing jokes in this special is so bad. Like, I'm really trying not to feel a sense of bias here, but this isn't good, right? Like, this is animated drivel, correct? I'm not sure if I'm saying that because I liked the older episodes of this show, but it feels so badly written, like really badly written. I know that's probably not their focus, like just make something SpongeBob related for the holidays, and you know, make it have to do with the movie we dumped millions of dollars into, yeah. And it really does hurt, because just like the other one, this special is a feast for the eyes. It's even nicer looking than the other one, honestly. The way characters move is so fluid again and so cartoony again. They got so much mileage out of different textures and materials for effects and such. It's just a passion project through and through. But man, to be given this fucking slop to work with is such a shame. This animation studio deserves better than a shoehorned Christmas movie tie-in thing for the show. It's almost worth watching for the visuals alone. Maybe watch it muted or something, I don't know. Oh, watch it muted, but put the older Christmas special on a different tab, so at least you're hearing a decently written episode while watching this one. Merry Christmas, guys. Yeah, not gonna lie, these are all really rough. I don't know if they just came up with the perfect premise for a Christmas episode immediately, but the best word I can use to describe all these other specials is contrived. It just really doesn't feel like there's a sense of passion at all in terms of writing. Like, that original Christmas Who is so deeply passionate in terms of writing. It fits SpongeBob and its characters perfectly, but these specials don't at all. You don't even get the tiniest feeling that this was a clever use of SpongeBob as an IP. It's just a Christmas episode for the sake of making a Christmas episode. Honestly, that third one is probably the most inspired, quote unquote, but not always in a good way. and it's extremely not good in about every other way. I think my least favorite one was that Sandy one, though. I cannot believe this exists in the way it does. Apparently, Camp Coral and The Patrick Show also have Christmas specials, but I'm drawing the line there. Those aren't episodes of SpongeBob. I'm not going to pretend they are. Christmas Who, surprise, will always be my favorite, and I don't think any SpongeBob Christmas special could come out to change that. The series is a completely different beast than I remember. It's nearly unrecognizable at times, I'm not kidding. And like I said earlier, that isn't really a bad thing. I tried really hard to go into these keeping that in mind. And obviously I will have a bias and I will miss the old style of writing, but I wanted to see these as episodes of a cartoon that I'm supposed to find charming and funny, as well as a Christmas special that I'm supposed to find entertaining and want to watch every year. And surprise, they don't pass on any of those fronts. They're not good. SpongeBob aside, they're just not funny and not satisfying to watch at all. I'm sure I'll be told I'm not the demographic for this stuff. This is for drooling baby kitties. It's SpongeBob. Well, that sucks, because I used to say the same thing, but arguing the opposite. SpongeBob wasn't made for drooling baby idiots. It was made for the people who made it. They made something they felt was funny and entertaining, and we laughed along because the creators' personalities were funny and entertaining. That Sandy special doesn't even feel like it was written by humans. Isn't that sad? We've dissolved so much that I was literally Googling if there was evidence that ChatGPT wrote the script for this episode. Not a good SpongeBob vibe and not a good Christmas vibe. But you know what? If you enjoyed any of these episodes, you should feel bad and get coal for Christmas, you stupid Just kidding. Obviously, it's fine if you do. I'd actually be interested to know why you like them. Not in a patronizing way, like my perspective is obviously very biased and tainted. What I find satisfying and entertaining about a piece of media could be wildly different. So tell me I'm wrong. Call me a sponge boomer. Do it. I'm asking you to, literally. Flood the comments with Sponge Boomer so the term loses all of its meaning and anyone who calls me it unironically can't be distinguished by the people calling me it ironically. That's my Christmas wish from you guys. Sorry if this was a little ranty for a Christmas video. It was fun though. I love hating SpongeBob. Hope you all have a good holiday and watch Christmas Who at least once this year. Until next time, holly jolly friends.